right, this is Steve, USS Junior. You're checking in with Lady Chan.
Hey guys, well. The desecration was in the Buddhism. A soul left the Buddhism. I don't even think a soul came into the Buddhism. Who was that? In the Buddhism. Oh yeah. What are you talking about, Shad? Well, I'm talking about Chris Eubank Jr. Versus Conor Benn too. My prediction was wrong. Conor Benn adjusted. I'm going to just get into it. So, let me start from the beginning. My prediction was I gave keys to victory. So, if you go and look at my last post on, just as this fight was coming up a couple of days back, I said what Conor Benn needed to do to win. And he kind of did implement that, actually. And I said what Chris Eubank needed to do. But I absolutely was picking Chris to maybe just be able to get it over the line again. Yeah, it was in my mind that, he looked washed near enough compared to him of old. And the first fight was a hard fight, and that's why I didn't want to take the fight in September, because he was still, recovering. But two things could be right at the same time. You can count on people going to the well, maybe twice, but I guess back to back, we couldn't have counted on it. We shouldn't have counted on it. If anybody wants to say that Chris Eubank Jr. wasn't weight drained, and that's on you guys. That's up to you guys. Now, my thoughts at the time, I thought he looked better at the weigh-in. He looked better at the weigh-in than he did before. But remember, on my report, I was like, look at him coming out of that sauna suit, and he's on the bike, and he looks like the same, like how he kind of came out the last time. He looks stiff and in pain, emaciated, but you should be able to maybe just get it. If it means this much, you should be able to get it over the line. I was thinking more mentally to push the physicality. And I thought, okay, he's going to rehydrate. Yep, we've got the cap, 170. I get it, I got it. When he came in the ring, I was like, his face looked a little like he had a little more hydration. I was like, yeah, his face had a little more hydration, because before, in the face-off, I saw it, the eyes were gaunt, and I was like, oh, my God. But the body, Chris Eubank Jr. looked terrible. There was no he didn't rehydrate well. He looked skinny. His legs were tiny. Now, I'm going to just rewind it back, Jack. Everybody was going crazy with this 50 Cent ring walk. I was disappointed in the end. I was like, 50, yeah, it's fit. I'm an artist. So watching it as an artist, I was like, hold up. Hey. From my people. No, let me stop. And 50 Cent just didn't. Go back and watch. He just doesn't know any of his bars. He's just a friend of mine. He was literally sometimes trying to make stuff up that wasn't making any sense. I'm an MC, so I know when MCs forget their lyrics. Then he would just fumble and just stop spitting. And I was like, oh, God, this is a bad omen. That's what I thought. And I just didn't think 50 looked that great. And I was thinking, Chris Eubank Jr., Napa is your manager, right? He was a grime MC. Like, East London. We know it, right? And Napa was on POW, one of the biggest grime hits in the UK, period. Okay? And Lethal B's, Friends and stuff like that. You saw Dizzy Rascal at the fight. And you put out a trailer of a new grime track with Napa spitting on it. So why didn't you come out ring walk London style, UK style? Like, why didn't you come out UK style? Like, and just so you got your London lads all there rallying. You could have had a massive ring walk that was relatable and relatable to you. 50 wasn't relatable. He looked out of shape. He did. And he didn't remember his bars. So I was one of the few that was impressed. I'm one of the few that wasn't impressed, should I say. So then the white robe, I was like, oh, God. But then it grew on me. And I was like, oh, actually, the robe. But the robe was, I didn't catch it at the time, but the robe was the masking agent to hide the fact that he was too weak to jump over the top rope. Chris Eubank always jumps over the top rope, just like how his dad did. And he didn't. And that, looking back, you're like, And then how the fight played off. Yeah, so he didn't go over the top rope. You have to realize these things because, like, yeah, for real, when people change their patterns, you have to focus on the why. So entonces, recuerda mi gente, okay? Recuerda mi gente, recuerda eso. Yeah, because I'm just like, yeah, it weren't adding up. So as we see the fight pan out, I gave Chris Eubank one solid round that I could give, maybe two, right? Two. He couldn't throw, there was no accuracy. At first, in the first round, I knew it was gone pear-shaped. And I was like, but then, like my cohorts were like, I thought maybe he could be, are you playing possum? And then you're just going to warm into the fight. He's straight on that back foot. And I kept saying to my co-host, he's flinching. He keeps flinching. He's biting at every single Conor Benn feint. The foot feints, he's flinching. The hand feints, Chris is flinching. Then when he does get hit, he's all over the place. He just unfolds. No shape, no form, just nothing. And Conor Benn, yes, he did fight a good fight. Disciplined, because I didn't think he was going to be disciplined. I thought he'd be disciplined for a chunk of the fight and then it would be go guns blazing. Oh, it was just nothing like that. But to be honest, near enough anybody could have beaten that version of Chris Eubank Jr. I'm going to give Conor Benn the plaudits. I'm going to give him, shouts out. You did what you had to do because that was who was in front of you. But it absolutely, this is the wild thing, it absolutely made me, rate Eubank Jr. a tad more because being in that condition and being able to finish the fight on your feet, and every time you got dropped, mate, you got up. I rate people, people laugh when fighters get dropped. I don't. I mean, I'm like, do they get up? Some fighters get up and win. Some fighters can get up and they still lose. At the fact that he still got up, and some fighters get up until they can't, and they try to get up, just like Ishmael Davis. That's another story. I thought it was Howard Foster, but it weren't Howard Foster in that ring. We just knew the face of him, and we just thought that rest sucks, so we just put it as Howard Foster. He literally got up every single time, finished the fight on his feet, all 24 rounds. And what I'm thinking is Conor Benn did the damn thing. But I feel like there's going to be a piece of Conor Benn that, at home, when he's thinks about it, he's going to think that, and watches back that fight, he's going to think, that weren't really the great win as it really is. I beat a really shell casing of Chris Eubank Jr. That, and people keep saying, well, he made the weight. He's been fighting there for the last 5-6 years. He's 36. Do you not think he's not I've seen Chris Eubank Jr. in real life a couple times. The lad easily walks around 185. Easily. So to come down to 160 and only be able to rehydrate to 170, and people are like, well, he came in a bit lighter than because there's no measuring once you're scraping sweat off you to lose those last ounces. You either just go you may lose too much, because he didn't want to listen. There was no Rolls Royces added to the building. But you know what? Conor Benn actually bought a red Lamborghini. I saw it on his snap. he bought a red Lamborghini. So he had the white Rolls Royce and he had the red Lamborghini. Congratulations, you know, fruits of his labour. You deserve to treat yourself. I like treating myself to something when I've established something or some kind of goal. I buy myself goal treats, you know, 'cause if I know, you know, some motherfuckers usually buy them, baby. Yeah, sorry. So congratulations on the new whip. But Chris Eubank Jr. cannot make 160. He can make 160, but it's life and death. He's got to go right back up to where he thought George Groves at, and that's at 168. Even fucking Billy Joe Saunders, as little as he was campaigning at 168. I don't know why Chris Eubank Jr. decided to go back down to 160. And now listen, it was a unanimous decision. I didn't even hear the scorecards. I think it was like 118, 108 or something, like judges across the board. Chris Eubank Jr. had nothing. And then he alluded to the fact that there was something. But, you know, we don't want to do excuses, and he didn't do excuses. And I'm sure in due time we will find out. But that wait just it's taken a toll. And I think that maybe next year, come back at the back end of the summer, maybe into the autumn, and just get I don't want to see a trilogy. Just get maybe there's a Canelo fight. They're both coming off losses. Or fight someone at 168, someone that's not too much of a threat. Beat them up. Make it someone from America. Bring them over to the UK and make it like a little, you know, extravaganza, and beat him and retire. There you go. Conor Benn's got many more things to do now. I mean, he can jump down to 147. He can make 147. Can he? He can. It'd be a bit of a struggle, but I believe that he can. 154 is just too many killers at this moment. So I believe he drops down to 147, gets one of the easy champs. I don't know. Mario Barrios, I think that... I don't know where to place Conor Benn. So I don't know who he beats. Does he beat Mario Barrios? So, you know, then you've got Devin Haney's, you've got the Ryan Garcia's. It's still a bit techie down there, you know, Conor. So if you get Mario Barrios, that'd be the best thing. And if you beat him, cool. You become a solid champion. Then you may want to leave that belt and go up to 154. But he's going to need some rounds in the bank. Unless you're going to continue to be a designer fighter. I call it a designer fighter. Chris Eubank and Conor Benn are designer fighters. They fight just for the occasion. Not necessarily for the legacy of stuff. It's occasions, like big money, big occasions. Like some fighters fight for legacy, and the legacy comes with big money and legacy fights. But I feel that they're designer fighters. They fight, you know, for what it is at the time it is that, you know. So congratulations to Conor Benn. Conor Benn defeats, desecrates, discombobulates Chris Eubank Jr. in a unanimous points decision. Yeah. Do I have anything else to add to this? Not really. Conor Benn was really measured though, and his shot selection was good. It was good. They definitely were hurting Chris. There was no signs that Conor Benn got hurt. Chris was throwing, he literally had cotton wool in his hands instead of gloves, and it was like that. Yeah, it was sad to see. I really felt bad for the dude, but at the end of the day, mate, you signed up for it, and I would have, me personally, that's what I was going to say. Me personally, I would have made the 160, and I would have blown the rehydration. I would have rehydrated I would have given him a Rolls Royce. Hey, take the Rolls Royce, but I beat you again. I would have 100,000 every pound I come in over. I mean, you're getting paid 10 million. It's something greedy, but I know the tax man's going to take half of that, so he leave you with 5. I get it. I would have blown it. I would have come in at about I would have came in at me. This is just me. I would have came in as a light heavyweight. The light heavyweight was... Well, it would be a full-fledged at the limit of the light heavyweight limit of 175. I would have came in there. Yeah, I would have came 175 in the building. Who am I, eh? I'm just this girl from London town, and no one listens to me. But that's just what I would have done, because there would have been no way that they would have pulled the fight. The magnitude of the fight, it was too big to be able to pull it and be like, well, we're not fighting. Eddie would have did a deal, and I believe that it would have been 100k per pound that he was over. But, you know. But that's all. Yeah, Conor Benn, great as well. Like I said, you know, it didn't take much to be able to beat that version of Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank serves you right. Not all money's good money. Your dad was saying it to anybody that would listen, from their grands to your mums to your aunties to your uncles. Do you know what I mean? And he was saying, this is going to go a step too far. My son walks around at 180, 185. I've seen it for myself. He was saying it. This is going to kill him. So I'd like to hear what Senior had to say, like, in the up-and-coming days. But yeah, Conor Benn is Conor Benning. So good luck to both fighters. Thank you for giving us, you know, fights. I still respect, you know, the fights that you give us, you two. Designer, we like a bit of designer, like a bit of Gucci, you like a bit of Armani, you know what I mean? Then we trod down to Primark when we're ready, so it's all good. Like a lot of Shein, so, yeah, you know. So, yeah, that's where I shall leave it. And in the up-and-coming days, I'm sure more news will develop. We've got so much happening, a lot of breaking news been happening left, right, centre, do you know what I mean? So I think, you know, I'd leave that from me to you, from you to me. 𝐸𝐻, brothers, 𝐸𝐻. Anyway, I'm gone. Hey, you girl, it's Leah Shan rep nonetheless. Come box with Shan. 𝐿 Chris Eubank Jr. Your soul left the buildings in. 𝐿